Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Bobby Ginnens. I was just thinking about something. You know what's funny is like, how do people think about something if they don't have the words to think those thoughts? You know what I mean? I know that probably sounded weird to even try to say, or maybe the words I use to say it in didn't sound right. But that's my point. Like, how do you think something if you don't know those words? Like, for example, a baby. They don't got no language yet. When they're outside and they just see like grass and a tree and a sky, they don't know the words grass and tree and sky. So what do they think? They're like, as you get a little older and you know the word grass and tree and sky, but you don't really know about the root system. You don't really know that water come out the sky to nourish the grass and trees. You don't know that. So when you're looking at the same thing the baby's looking at, now you at least got words and ideals to kind of think about it in different ways. But as you get older and are more educated, then now you, like I said, now you know a little more about where the precipitation comes from. Now you know about, the oceans and the rivers and everything. And you're looking at the same thing, the grass, the trees, and the sky. But now you can think about it differently because your vocabulary has expanded and your comprehension of, increasingly complex concepts has expanded. Well, what about when people were maybe early hominids, pre-hominids, or early humans? They didn't have any kind of vocabulary, even as they got older. What kind of like concepts did they have of like eternity, infinity? Probably none. Like, what did they even have? Or maybe none. What did they even have for like pre-birth, prenatal, afterlife, death? Like, what were their ideals about that? And as they were forming ideals, how did they do it without words for it? I'm just thinking, like, to even have complex thoughts, especially about things like, where do we all come from? Where do we go after this? What are we? Where are we? What is it? How do you even think about those things when the words for them haven't even come out yet? And how could people like that have had all the answers? You got it all figured out. Like, we don't got it figured out now. And we still don't have the words to even really explain a lot of things. Like, how can our human mind really wrap itself around infinity? Other than like, right now at this time in this frame of mind, I don't even know the word I'm looking for like a basic understanding or explanation of infinity, other than infinite, no beginning or end, no definite edges. Infinity is literally beyond orbit's boundaries. P.O.P. But how did less civilized or less educated people discover all the answers to the universe, or enough to really say, this is what it is, this is what you need to do? I'm thinking that they came up with this. At least the basic understanding of morality. You do good, good things come back to you. Not all the time, but you increase your chances. You do bad things come back to you. Again, not all the time, but you rolling them dice, you know what I'm saying? You might as well increase the chances if you can. And really, morality does help a lot. You know, I think people learned early on that a single individual can improve his quality of life quite a bit, experience a lot of benefits by increasing the morality with which he lives his life. But you can't really improve humanity very much if other people learned that they can improve their quality of life by being immoral. Now they're definitely not gonna help improve the quality of humanity's life. They're not gonna, improve the quality of life for humanity by being immoral individually. But their personal lives can be greatly enhanced. So I wonder if, even as they kind of figured out, hey, or maybe they started at least hypothesizing, maybe we can improve quality of life for humanity in aggregate and our own personal quality of life if we do certain things that might not be that moral. Bend some rules, maybe even break them, maybe even get into a position of power where they can make the rules and make them to where they can get away with certain things other people can't. I'm just thinking that very, very, very early on, people figured out that they can really bend the rules with morality and still have a high quality of life, maybe even feel like they're helping people in aggregate. Yeah, if they gotta kill a few people or break a few bones, hey, you gotta break a few bones to make a soup, right? Or is it a few eggs to make omelets? You know what I'm talking about. Excuse me. And I'm sure that early on people were wondering, where did I come from? Where am I going when I die? Now they probably didn't have the words for those concepts yet. So that's interesting. How did they think about those things? Prior to possession of that vocabulary. But early on, ooh, that's a nice little hot rod. I think I missed it. Anyway. Alright, so early humans were probably thinking like, where did I come from? How did I get here? What's gonna happen when I die? Where am I gonna go? I don't think they had early on concepts of like ego. I don't even know if they had the concept of concept. You know what I'm saying? Like, did they know that some things are just kind of imaginary or thought of? I mean, I guess they had to have known the difference between, oh, I can touch this, it's physical, it really exists, versus, oh, the wind, I can't touch it, I can't see it, but I just know it exists, I guess even early on they had those concepts. I guess maybe that's why spirit is like the word for like breathe, almost like the wind, or like breathing something in. You're breathing life in, like life would be like invisible. I guess no, like breath would be like invisible life, like you're breathing it in. I don't know. I think that linguistics is interesting, the etymology of words, just the origins of civilizations, all that stuff fascinates me. And then ancient civilizations at that, especially when you start talking about still ancient civilizations, but ones that were seemingly far more advanced than our own, or at least advanced to a significant extent, but in a far different way. Like, say, like, I know it's probably a played out example, so I'll try to come up with some others, but also like Egyptian pyramids. Like, what were they used for? How did they construct them? How did they come up with the idea to do it? I mean, it's just fascinating. And then you got pyramids all over the world, but none quite like those. You know, none built with such long-lasting materials, were heavier and harder, so harder to live. So it's almost like a demonstration of a greater mastery of some sort of skill. And then plus, one wonders, they must have known, oh, it's gonna last a lot longer if we use these materials. And probably even thought, well, it's gonna demonstrate a much greater level of skill. So for a lot longer, people are gonna know that we had a lot, more knowledge than most people around us probably, and more than anyone has ever apparently had. So I'm thinking that they probably had those similar thoughts and probably were motivated by those thoughts, if not primarily, at least, secondarily or whatever. Like today, 2026, a lot of what we have, even though it's far more advanced than previous generations could probably imagine, or at least advanced to a significant extent in a way that they wouldn't have imagined. Once we're dead and gone, not much of our civilization is gonna last. All our computers, the microchips with trillions and trillions of circuits, that's gonna break down pretty quick. So as advanced as the civilization is, and as many wild and crazy things as we know how to do, once we're dead and gone as a civilization, people are not gonna know if there's a next civilization, or if another form of life comes and explores the planet. Like, they're not gonna know what we were capable of. And partly because we don't even take the time to learn from the lessons from previous, less advanced civilizations. Hey, we got an engraver around here somewhere, right? Yeah, they still got rocks too? Okay, well, let's get a rock and engrave some of this shit. So when we're dead and gone, people will know at least the ideals, the concept of, the technology. But then, you get to thinking, who's to say that the next generation or the next civilization is gonna form and develop that same language, or a language similar enough that they'll understand? Now, sure, you get advanced enough, then you can translate. Like, even though I'm personally not that good at translating languages, I can see similarities. If I put my mind to it, I know I could be a lot better than that. But I never thought to myself, yeah, I'm very good at, studying languages and learning them and speaking them and reading them and understanding them, in fluent conversations or whatever. But I'm sure I could. Anyway, my point is, even if we did learn from previous civilizations how to at least leave information for the next generation, next civilization, and whether it's engraving into stone, even cheating using not cheating, but altering their method by using some of our available resources. Even if we wrote down a lot of descriptors of our civilization, is the next civilization going to learn our language? And are they going to be able to apply just descriptors into actually manufacturing, some of the electronics, for example, that we have? Are they going to be able to build a space shuttle? Like, how many stones would you need and how many engravers would you run through trying to describe, rocket science? I just wonder if some of the more basic things that a following civilization would benefit from are just the benefits of morality. Can we explain, like, hey, this is where we went wrong? When you had too many people doing too much bad stuff, it affected everybody, or at least too many people in too bad of a way. It has to be guarded against. We have to do something to stop people from being immoral and try to encourage them to be moral. We gotta threaten them almost. We gotta threaten them. Yeah, we gotta threaten them with eternal hellfire if they're immoral. See, I imagine that a lot of religions probably started like that. Now, you combine that with the fact that people want to know where did they come from, where are they going to go when they die. I think people started creating religions that were encouraging people to be moral, prioritize morality, and discourage people from being immoral. And threaten them a little bit, carrot and stick, You want that, you want that, go get that. Or nah, you gonna get that. Heaven or hell type shit. And they wanted to explain where they came from, so they said, well, hey, you breathe, can't really see it, but something's giving you life. I think what gives you life is invisible. It's just some invisible energy. Yeah, it's good. It's life. I think that's where good comes from. We're going to call it God. Okay, but where does evil come from? Immorality. The evil comes from the devil. We're going to call it devil. I'm oversimplifying a little bit. Maybe a lot less than you think. And maybe a lot of us need to think a lot more. And think a lot less about people that say we don't think enough. But think even less about people that say we think too much. That's what I was thinking about.